Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourselves in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. Having seen the lamentable state of the combat readiness of many of the magi throughout the city who must now shoulder the responsibilities of the incumbent conflict with the technocracy, it has been decided that those who wish to practice or who wish to, in one way or another, show their skills are to gather this afternoon on a unassuming dockyard in Dublin, just outside of Howth, the peninsula that stretches out into the sea proper. The my apologies. The characters will be asked to assemble at 5 o'clock in the morning. It is incredibly cold. It is incredibly damp. The cold will seep into your bones as you stand there in, I would hope, weather-suitable attire. If not, you are about to have a very sad life, a very sad existence. So, we shall begin with the introductions as I see people on my personal hangout. So, Mr. Weiss, welcome to 5 o'clock in the morning.
What's the strongest source of caffeine you can possibly have at any given time?
Is that a serious question? Because you can buy caffeine pills in most pharmacies.
He probably popped one of those. He's probably sitting there. Wait, we're out in the open, right? Or no?
Yes, it is raining.
Despite the rain, he's smoking. Basically, he would be a statue, except for the fact that there's the occasional movement around the cigarette.
Okay, and a little bit of okay. Sam, Rory is next.
Rory skates up. Yeah, he was up anyways, so this is not particularly a hardship. And he just kind of jumps in place after nimbly hopping off the skateboard. Just really excited to be there.
Okay. It is good that he arrives. Anastasia, you are next.
Where are we at?
It is 5 o'clock in the morning. You are standing in the teeming rain in it's about 2 degrees at the moment. In about 2-degree weather. In the middle of bumblefuck nowhere on the docks just outside of Howth, Dublin.
Okay. She'll just calmly walk over there and up to everybody that's been introed.
Okay.
And everybody gets the feeling of snakes are sliding across their skin.
React to that however people want to.
There is no reaction. There is only coffee. And my lack of it.
I thought caffeine pills.
Those are to get me to the coffee.
That is entirely reasonable as a statement. Heather, question. Does Jewel wish to come in with the rest, or does she wish to make an entrance or some such later?
She'll probably come in with the rest.
Okay, in that case, you're up.
Jewel looks very well rested, and considering the rain, she actually has a rain hat on. She doesn't appear to need coffee or really anything else. It seems like this is probably around when she normally gets up. And she will find a place reasonably close to the other two mages and give a slight bow of greeting to them.
Anastasia will see the lady bowing towards her, get up and she will bow towards her as well.
That's the first time someone has actually done that for her. Well, who isn't obviously Japanese.
Yes, Sam, you were muted. Sorry.
And she will say, "Good morning."
Good morning.
Good morning.
Our
How are you this? And she looks at the sky. Fine evening. Or fine day. Sorry, it's evening where I'm at.
well rested at least. A little cold, a little damp, but otherwise no complaints.
At this point, the warehouse doors in front of you, this warehouse looks old and decrepit and derelict, will creak open on rusty hinges. And you will see about 3 or 4 men walk out. One of them is carrying an umbrella. Under the umbrella, as a matter of fact, under the umbrella. Mr. Weiss will recognize the man he works for. And Anastasia will recognize that guy who owns the bathhouse I was in the other day. And Heather will recognize that dick. Sam, you've got no idea who he is. He is, however, walking out under an umbrella that is being held by somebody else. These are all very large, tattooed men.
Is he your PC?
He is. Very calmly, the very, very cold blue eyes will sweep all of you. He will bow ever so slightly, basically bow about 10 degrees, as he says, "Konnichiwa. Good morning."
Good morning.
She'll think in her head that's probably the greeting because everybody knows konnichiwa, so she'll just say konnichiwa.
You'll actually get a greeting. The others got grunts and vague nods. You get a bow and a strangled warning, which, given his condition, is probably impressive.
He will contemplate for a few moments before he will say, "It has been deemed necessary that I will be holding these little soirees 2 or 3 times a week until further notice via the powers that be in this city. They have informed me of what they wish, and I will see that it is carried out. As it stands or stems at the moment, the fact is that it is believed we are woefully inadequately prepared for what may indeed be a full-on conflict with the Technocratic Union. I am here to prepare you for that eventuality. Do you understand?"
Anastasia will nod and she'll say, "Thank you for taking your time for us."
There is a very, very slight shrug as he says, "Would you care to step inside? I assure you it's warmer in here than it is out there."
She will smile and then say, "Yes, I would like to step inside," and she'll walk inside.
Anybody else doing the entering thing?
Rory will go. Thanks.
He'll raise a hand, actually, as Rory's about to pass him. He won't touch him, but he'll stop him and he'll say, "I don't know you. Who are you?"
Rory.
Elaboration.
I'm with the Order of Hermes.
I see. He contemplates for a moment. Very well, then. Please step inside.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. I'm going to assume, do Mr. Weiss and Jewel both go inside?
Joel will go inside.
I was muted. Yes, my character went inside.
Oh, my apologies. Okay.
She will bow and offer Ohayo gozaimasu, Kage-san.
He will bow and, in English, will say, "Indeed." He appears to be very, very unimpressed that you called him San, which seems to intimate that you believe you are his superior or that you are of equal rank, but he lets that one go. He will turn on his heel as he'll let everyone walk in before he himself turns on his heel and enters. The large tattooed man will push the door closed behind you. Inside, the inside of the warehouse is actually relatively, I'm not going to say nice. It's still obviously a warehouse, but, you know, there are a number of, okay, you're going to have to forgive me. In Ireland, we have, obviously we don't have smoking in public establishments, so we have a lot of beer gardens at pubs. I don't know if that is a similar thing in the United States or Canada.
Sort of.
So yeah. So basically, do you know space heaters? They're kind of tall. They almost look like umbrellas, but they heat space.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a number of those dispersed throughout the room. You assume to keep people warm who are inside. There are several beat up kind of leather recliner chairs. There's a TV in one corner of the room. Basically, you assume this is some kind of hangout or area. There are also a number of kind of quasi inspirational Japanese pictures on the wall of, like, you know, the probably vintage World War II stuff. You know, of Long Live the Emperor. You know, so on and so forth. Just kind of Japanese soldiers doing heroic things and whatever else have you kind of pictorial around the wall. There was also a large squared area that has basically tatami mats. So for those of you who don't know, those are the traditional rice paper mats that things like training and stuff occur on. Saisho will walk around the mat, or he will walk around the tatami mats. They're about 20 foot by 20 foot, so they're quite large. And he will say, "I would pose you a question. Each one of you, what is your universe?" And he waits for a response.
I didn't catch everything you said. Sorry.
He's walking around a series of tatami mats, and he's saying, his question to you was, what is your universe? What is your everything?
Oh.
Right now, probably this book. Taps his breast pocket.
Does anyone else care to wager an answer? What is your everything?
Not quite sure what you mean.
He contemplates and he says, "My apologies if my English was not clear. What is the locus of your existence? What gives you purpose? What is the driving factor of your being?"
What is my purpose is to serve under my goddess Athena and understand her mysteries.
I'd say the lulls.
What is a lull?
It's really
like to
something
get
you
a
have to
chuckle
kind
out
of
of my
experience for yourself. Very hard to describe.
He looks at you with kind of, you know, that entirely blank expression of someone who probably thinks, you know, Pepe is just a Mexican name, and kind of, shrugs absent-mindedly as he says, however, I have a challenge for each one of you. For the purposes of this morning, for our exercises that we will do, this, he says as he taps his foot on the mat, the area covered by this mat is your universe. There is nothing outside it. There is no worry, no stress. There is no pain, no discomfort, no heartache, nothing wrought by the hand of man that can concern you. Whilst you step in here, this is all that there is. Your opponent, the only thing that exists in your universe. Do you understand this premise?
Yep.
Yes, and you'll see her take a hairband out and she'll tie her hair back.
Sideshow will say, each one of us practices a path. Each one of us walks the path of their Dharma in one form or another, though you do not necessarily know you refer to it as your Dharma. The chosen path that each one of us must walk. The tenets that we all cling to. Everything is simply an element of Dharma, an element of self. Our magical selves is the simple, transient existence, as all mankind must eventually break the cycle, leave the wheel, and achieve perfection. That is our goal. I'm just waiting to see if Heather wants to viciously interject to that one.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. What was that?
Oh God, I just gave a speech.
I caught part of it. I did not catch the last little bit of it.
Basically, he said that ultimately, through mankind following its Dharma, our purpose was to achieve ascension, leave the wheel, and achieve our most innermost desires, etc.
Jewel will very calmly take off her rain hat. She doesn't shake the water off of it, but she sets it someplace where it can dry. You truly believe you can escape the wheel?
He will contemplate and he will say, through the achievement of perfection, the abandonment of self, and the adherence to one's Dharma, of course, one may leave the wheel.
Attaining godhood.
He will contemplate that, and he will shake his head, and he will say, ultimately gods quake before the concept of those who walk a path of their own. There is enlightenment. There is perfection. Not even gods are perfect. You know what? He'll walk forward. He'll point at Anastasia, and he'll say, "You say you serve the goddess Athena, yes?"
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but was the father of Athena not a man who would serially, what would the term be? Molest against their will women whom he simply desired and decided to take to his bed, in one form or another, committing acts of bestiality and depravity, the likes of which even mythology is stained with?
Yes.
Do you believe these are the actions of a perfect being?
No.
Even
Do you
gods
believe in
themselves
perfect
are-
beings?
He'll turn his head and he'll say, I believe in the attempt of individuals to achieve perfection. Whether one can or not, he shrugs.
Do you believe there are perfect beings?
Not here, no. However, I believe that the task set to us in order to try and achieve the innermost understanding of our path is what may bring us home to that sweet perfection.
Cool.
What is it that you believe, Order of Hermes? I know what your people believe, but you all view it in such a disparate way. What do you believe?
You know, I never really thought about it. I don't really think that much. The others kind of, you know, pull my balls for that one, but it's all good.
So what you're saying is you are action minus thought.
Sure. That's a really nice way of putting it. I like that.
There's a casual shrug. And he says, very well then. You will step onto the mat first, I think.
Cool. Getting my ass kicked is always a learning experience. I wonder what I'll learn this time.
People say, what is your chosen form of
Formal
combat? Sorry, he asked,
Singing
what is
usually.
your chosen form of combat?
Singing? Do you mean like fisticuffs kind of thing?
He will nod.
I'm happy to mix it up. I'm sure I don't know a fraction of what you do, but I've swallowed a few teeth in my day.
Sideshow will very calmly, he'll remove the swords that are very obviously hanging from his belt, and he'll place them down rather reverently into the hands of one of his retainers as he steps onto the mat. And he will say, you'll see him he'll go through a brief mudra, moving, basically loosening his muscles, as he says, now I want you to strike me. I want you to empty your mind of everything. You said you are action without thought, so strike me without thinking.
Okay. That's right. Let me just pull up a dice roller.
No worries.
Rory just kind of like cracks his neck a little bit, and okay, just roll.
Mm-hmm.
Spend a willpower, because why not? Four successes.
Okay.
Oh, no, hold on. There's one. 5 successes.
Okay. Roll me some sweet, sweet damage.
Much less good. Yeah, that's none.
All right. So, okay, to describe what you do, and I'll describe what happens.
I don't even know. He Rory's a lanky guy, not particularly muscular, and he balls up a fist and hits his opponent squarely in the right in the diaphragm. But as he connects, he seems to have gotten distracted by something shiny, and his eyes kind of flickered off somewhere else. And the blow was glancing at best.
Okay. Actually, what happens is you will throw your punch, your fist will stop about a couple of millimeters away from his chest, and you will feel force rippling back up your arm. Basically, you will feel almost like. Have you ever had an electric shock, Sam?
Yes.
So you know that kind of rippling feeling that it gives you, but you feel that ripple back up your arm, but you don't get hurt, and your fist will stop about, as I say, a couple of millimeters away from his chest. He will look down and he'll kind of raise an eyebrow and he'll say, "Interesting. That should have taken you right off your feet. I'm surprised that you didn't, or I'm surprised rather that clearly you didn't hit me with enough kinetic force for it to be able to manifest."
Eh.
Interesting.
I'm a surprising kind of guy. The power of fail.
He'll shrug and he'll say, "Perhaps. Today we're going to work on the applications of magic when it comes to the actual essence of what it is to be combative. Do you understand that as a phrase?" All of you.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Out of character, could you repeat that last bit?
He said we are basically going to talk about the combat after the combat, applying magic to combat, essentially.
The book comes out and there's Furious paging through going, nope, nope, maybe, nope, nope. Okay, sure, I'll bite.
Very well then. He will look back at his opponent and he will say, what arts have your hermetic masters taught you?"
So I'm not really the best student, but you know, I can heal myself pretty good and make myself even prettier than I already am, or ugly too.
I personally, he says very calmly in Japanese, so Jewel will understand. Well, we have never really found gingers to be attractive, but thankfully they don't manifest in our gene pool. At which point the Yakuza will kind of all snicker, 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 snicker.
Jewel raises an eyebrow at that, but she smiles a little bit.
Fun fact, the Asian cultures think red hair is the creepiest thing in the universe. They're like, about it. So he'll say, "Oh, very well then. Would anyone... a better idea. Somebody else. Who else? Perhaps Miss Jewel. Yes. Would you care to take my place upon the map?"
Certainly. And she will walk onto the mat.
This exercise is simple. You are to both use whatever abilities and/or spells or whatever abilities and/or arts you believe would be the most effective. Channel them into your offensive capabilities. and both of you attempt to, well, he'll snap his fingers, at which point two of the Yakuza will hop up on from where they were kneeling onto their legs and will stand in front of you. Let loose on my men here. If you kill them, I will be impressed. You can't tell if he's joking.
Just to be clear, are you joking?
He will turn his back as coffee is being poured for him and very slightly shrug.
Coffee? There's coffee?
There is coffee. It's basically being poured for him out of a thermos into a very nice little china cup.
Rory kind of reaches into his satchel and pulls out a rock star and guzzles it like the uncouth barbarian that he is. Cool.
You all.
Somewhere out there, the cosmic universe, Sam, you get the pat on the head, and that's my boy.
Yep. He, if his father was someone slightly different, there would be an epic belch too. But that's for the Dagda.
That's for the Dagda. I feel like that should be a hashtag. Hashtag that's for the Dagda.
The man who plows fields literally with his dick.
Irish mythology, making no sense for millennia. Fuck yes.
Okay, so do we just like attack one of them?
He basically said, hit them with everything you had, so yes.
Okay, let me just pull up my mage book here.
I thought he was asking Joel too.
Both of them. There's one for each of them.
Okay.
All right. Spending a willpower on the magic roll.
What effects are you doing?
I am using life. I am going to damage them. Like using punch to violence as a focus.
Okay, so you're basically just throwing a punch, but the punch is just superfluous to the fact that you're actually using a life effect, which is what's actually going to damage them.
Yes.
That's fine. And Joel, what would you do? I think Heather is dead. Long live Heather.
I'm here. Hang on a sec. I just got a text from my mother-in-law.
Oh, God.
I think she's stranded at the grocery store again.
I like how there's an again in that sentence.
It's a long story.
All right, so in the meantime, make your roll. Make your roll, Sam.
All right. Wow, that's a lot of successes.
Wait, hang on. Okay, so you're using the violence as the focus because using a vulgar life 3 effect, so that would mean it would be difficulty 7 going down to difficulty 6 based on using a focus. So
that wasn't the Arete roll. That was just the.
Okay.
So wait, okay. Right, and so how do I figure out the difficulty?
Okay, so it's basically because it's a vulgar effect. It's 4 plus 3 because it's 4 for vulgar effect plus the level of the sphere. In this case, 3, which make it a difficulty 7. -1 for using a -1 for using a focus, which make it difficulty 6.
Okay. And willpower. And if I added like another focus, does it reduce it further?
No, if you use a custom focus, it does, but custom focuses are a bit twinky or a bit kind of. You have to have custom focuses for each sphere that you want to have a custom focus for. You can then spend quintessence to lower the difficulty again, or you could make relevant rolls like esoterica or something like that. They can lower the difficulty.
Let's spend quintessence. Why not?
Okay. How many quintessence do you want to spend?
Let's spend 2.
Okay, that will lower the difficulty from 7 to
4.
Yeah, sorry, I was yawning. It would be from 7 to 4.
And with willpower, 3 successes.
Okay, I need to find the damage chart because one exists.
Yes.
I believe 3 successes is 5 levels of aggravated damage.
I think it's 6, actually.
Yeah. Oh, I think you are right. Yep. Okay. So how do you want this to Are you basically doing it like the 5-finger death touch, where you just tap, 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 and then blood explodes out of their mouth, or what are you doing?
Rory just kind of tosses his head back, laughs, and then kind of runs like a moron straight at one of the Yakuza. Preferably the one who had laughed the loudest before. Mm-hmm. And he almost is like dancing as he runs, just kind of sways, and then he just backhands the man and follows up with a punch to the stomach.
As you do that, you get the hilarious kind of anime moment where it freezes for a split second as you see the eyes nearly leave this guy's sockets as there's an explosion of blood from his nostrils, his nose, and his mouth as he's thrown backwards by about 5 to 10 feet, rolls, twitches, 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 and lies still.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, take a paradox.
Sweet.
Saisho will very calmly look over, kind of move his head from side to side to show, okay, that was actually a pretty good hit, before he'll go back to sipping his coffee. Am I to assume that Mr. Weiss is kind of hovering near the coffee, being like, please, sir, can I have some coffee?
More like hoping you'll spill it.
That's a level of desperation.
Addiction is a thing.
Addiction is a thing.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. So, what effect would Jewel like to do?
Okay. So Jewel would like to use an Entropy 2 effect on herself to lower her difficulty to hit, and follow that up with a hard strike from her martial arts training.
That is entirely fine. Roll your entropy in order to lower the difficulty. You can lower your difficulty using an entropy effect by up to -3.
Woo! Alrighty. I would like to spend a point of willpower and a point of quintessence on this roll.
That's fine. So that's basically going to be, because it's for the record, Sam. Because yours is difficulty 4 because it was vulgar. Hers is difficulty 3 because it's coincidental. Just that's how that works.
Okay. Why was mine vulgar?
Beg your pardon?
Why was it vulgar? Just out of curiosity.
You put enough force.
No, it wasn't that. It was basically doing damage like that. Basically, harming the pattern with life is always considered to be vulgar.
That makes sense.
Yeah, dealing aggravated damage, unless you do it in very specific ways, is always considered to be vulgar. Like, for example,
that makes complete sense.
In theory, you can use life to make people think that he's having a heart attack, for example. That's coincidental. But ultimately, it's still pattern damage, which is still vulgar as balls.
Or if you use force to put extra oomph behind a punch, for example.
Yes, because literally, if you put forces behind a punch, it could send them back, 10, 20, 30 feet. in increments. So okay, so yeah, no. So Jewel, roll me that sweet lower difficulty dice. Do the thing.
2 successes.
Okay, so that will mean that the difficulty will go down to what is the difficulty on a hard strike?
The difficulty for a hard strike is 5.
Okay, so that means
She
it'll go
is
down
correct.
to.
I'm looking at the book.
Okay,
Sorry.
that means it will go down to difficulty 3.
Alrighty. And then let's see. Dexterity plus martial arts is the dice pool.
Oh, would you also like to maybe do a sense weakness, which is entropy 1, to lower the difficulty of your 2 wound ability or your 2 damage ability?
You know what? Yes.
Okay.
Because I believe I
Roll
also
that.
have that.
Well, it's an entropy 1 effect, so yes.
Yeah.
Can you do 2 magic rolls in the same round?
In theory, I'm not doing this. In theory, no, I'm not doing this in rounds, though. This is more just for fluff and fun.
Oh, okay.
Now, you could combine 2 different level powers of the same sphere into a rote.
Yeah, you can. That's why you can do things like using better body to increase different attributes at once, as opposed to I raise this, then I raise this, then I raise this.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you, or in previous editions, if you wanted to speak and see and speak to spirits at the same time, you needed 2 different levels of the sphere in order to do that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, so roll your arete in order to get the reduced 2 wound penalty.
And can I also spend a point of willpower and quintessence on this roll?
Yeah, you can. Rolling.
And let's make that 2d10 instead of 2d1. 2 successes.
Okay. Basically, how sense weakness works is it reduces the difficulty of your. You can either have 2 additional dice of damage, or you can reduce the difficulty of your overall to damage by -2. I always recommend the -2.
I'm going to go with the -2.
Excellent. So roll me your sweet martial arts followed by your damage. You're hitting on difficulty 3 and damaging on difficulty 4.
Alrighty. That's 2 successes for the hit. And damage is, what did you say the damage
Difficulty 4.
difficulty 4? Okay. That's what I thought. +1.
Hard strike does strength plus what? It's like strength plus 3 or something, I think.
Hard strikes is strength +1 bashing
Okay.
for the book.
Yeah. You're thinking of Death Strike.
Yeah.
I am also known as that thing that Tim was addicted to in Hong Kong. Tim, how do you want to solve that problem? I snake step and death strike it.
Yeah.
That was how he solved all life's problems, I swear to God.
I actually like the soft styles.
And that is 4 successes on the damage roll.
I will roll his soak. 1 moment. Well, okay. You dislocate his nose and send him spinning onto the ground. That was a botch. Well, unfortunately, you can't botch soap rolls, but that was still, if it was anything else, that was a botch. He had a stamina of 2. I rolled 2 1s.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Because fuck that guy in particular.
I think the other guy's in worse shape.
Yes,
I mean,
but
this guy is still alive.
the other one is still alive as well, technically.
Yes, although he will take another level of lethal next turn. Yay. Sorry. Unless I should probably go heal him.
Why would he take another level of lethal?
Internal hemorrhaging. Once you reach a certain level, you take a level a turn.
Oh, yeah.
People forget about that. That's because it doesn't apply to the other splats.
That's
It
true.
does for humans and mages.
I will point out, as they're lying on the floor, you will notice both of them basically disappear into basically sparkling light or gusts of wind and sand, whichever you prefer.
No.
Sideshow will walk forward again and he'll say, "Did you honestly think I would let you really manhandle my men?"
Yes. You seem like that kind of person.
There's a very slight turn and he says, "What kind of person is that?"
Person who go pretty far to prove a point.
And what point
Also-
am I trying to prove?
I don't know. You're way more subtle than I am. And I'm not particularly bright.
Sideshow will very, very slightly shrug, at which point he'll point at you. You will be offered a cup of coffee.
Oh, thanks.
Hey, Weiss, somebody got a cup of coffee. Now is your time.
What happened?
Your health.
Somebody was given a cup of coffee.
Me?
No, not you. But I said now is your time. You can either ask for a cup or, like, I don't know, inhale the vapors from someone else's.
He's just gonna look at the coffee and just be like, "Wait, who got it? Who got the cup of coffee?"
Sam did. So Rory did.
He's just looking at Rory like, "You gonna drink that?"
Jealousy.
Sideshow will say, "So, you've both proven that you have the ability to fight. One of you in a much more subtle way than the other, but then again, I expected that from the Athanatos. They like to not be seen, and prefer to leave only the bodies in their wake. So then, I believe, you know what? He's actually going to extend his hand to Finlay, and he's going to say, 'May I see your book, Mr. Weiss?'
Sure. He hands it over.
He will leaf through the book, and he will kind of raise an eyebrow, and he'll say, 'This is utter gibberish.'
Actually, well, it's less gibberish and more it shouldn't work, because literally all that's in there is, like, give you an example of what I told Rory earlier. You'll have detect magic, and it's a brief description in English of what it should be, followed by a series of possible ways to activate the effect. Words.
No.
gestures.
He will look back at you and say, 'This is utter gibberish.' As in, from what Sideshow, and he'll explain this to you, from what he sees, all of the pages are covered in squiggly lines that make no sense to him.
Huh.
As in, you can read it, he can't.
Interesting. Well, I did ask for it to be magical.
You did, you know. And to be fair, I think this is the first person who's actually sat down and looked at it who wasn't you.
Good point.
So he will say, he'll shrug and he will say, "Do you wish to step onto the mat, Mr. West?"
I mean, I'm going to get dropped, but sure. The only way I even know how to fight is with a gun, and that's barely.
He will hold out his hand. He'll hold out his hand and say, "Nagaze, Kamatsukai." At which point, one of his men will walk forward. This one, probably you can tell, more tangible than the others. The other two you saw, now you think about it, they did look rather strangely alike. But very calmly, he will reach in, take his gun from a holster on his hip, and he will hand it to you.
He'll take it and make sure it's loaded and everything else, and be like, I mean, do you want me to shoot one of your men?
No, Mr. West. I want you to shoot me.
Didn't you say something about kinetic barriers or something?
My barrier is only designed for those individuals who are within a hand-to-hand range.
Huh. Seems like a bit of an oversight there, but, I mean, okay.
He will say, "I didn't really anticipate anyone attempting to shoot me today."
All right.
He can probably change the barrier, too. I'm sure he's done this once or twice. Or 1,000 times.
That you know what you're doing.
I mean, low key, I did hear about how to change it up.
No, I was actually saying. Rory was actually saying that in character.
Yes.
He'll step onto the mat, I guess.
If it makes you feel any better, I can bring people back from the brink of death. Take a licking and keep on ticking. Good coffee, by the way. Thanks.
You're welcome. As I say, I enjoy my coffee with plenty of sugar. It tends to keep me awake. So then.
Twitch.
Mr. Weiss, if you would not mind, I don't have all day. Kill me, please. Thank you.
Okay. And he'll just aim. I assume they're like 10 feet away or something.
Probably a little bit more, probably about 15, but yes.
Aim. Takes a couple seconds to actually, get the aim advantage. Fires. Because he doesn't have many dice to roll for this. Where is it? Discord? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dex firearms, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the diffs? And what does aiming do again? Reduces the diff by one, I think.
I think aiming reduces the difficulty by
no, that's not what it does. Aiming adds one dice per round spent aiming at the same target, up to a maximum limit of your perception. And there are some additional rules if you're using a scope.
Oh yeah. No, the reason the thing that confused me was you get additional rules when you're using a sniper scope, and the last time I had to use the aiming maneuver was with the sniper scope.
Okay, so it's just +1 to my die pool then.
You can wait for as many turns as you want in order to get the extra dice up to your perception if you'd like.
Yeah, but you said not to take all day, so he'll just take one round, so which is like a couple seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 seconds specifically.
Okay, that's Dex plus firearms +1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Difficulty 6.
Mm-hmm. Actually, he's a standing stationary target who's not very far away from you, so probably difficulty 5.
Well, if he's at point blank range, it's 4.
It's point blank range is 4. Yes, thank you, Sam.
But in this case, it's 10 plus feet away, so 5, right?
No, then it would just be 6.
Yeah, that would still be 6. So yeah, just say difficulty 6.
I missed.
He will very calmly look down as the bullet ricochets. Okay, how would you like to have missed? Where were you attempting to hit him?
Shoulder.
Okay, the bullet will whiz past his cheek. He will not flinch. He will say, "Try again."
Takes a second. changes his stance slightly, takes another round, and tries again. Got it by botch. 3 successes.
Ooh, excellent. So where are you aiming for now? Still his shoulder?
Yeah, because I assume if you're trying to aim for anything like a limb, it's actually going to raise the difficulty.
Well, no. I believe it is assumed that when it comes to shots, unless a call shot is made, you're attempting for center mass. I
Yeah,
believe.
So he's probably aiming for center mass.
Okay,
Center
cool.
mass.
You see his eyes close, kind of, as if he's concentrating or meditating. As you fire, his hand will snap up and catch the bullet.
Nice trick.
He'll hold the bullet between his 2 fingers and he'll say, "That is a very basic and light trick. As a matter of fact, I do believe I could teach Mr. Sorry, what was Rory's second name?
Oh, it's hold on. I know this. They wrapped my knuckles over it a few times. Something Hermes Bani Marinita.
He will say, "I do believe I could probably teach Mr. Rory here how to do it if he's interested."
Yeah, that'd be cool.
He'll kind of flick the bullet round in his fingers and he'll say, "What you have to understand is, when you are one of us, your perceptions of time are different. What is a moment is an hour, what is an hour is a century, what is the blink of an eye is eternity. Or indeed, none of the above. So, when you fired the gun, I was able to perceive the movement of the bullet. I was able to intercept it, and I was able to harden the skin on my hand so that it would not break through. Do you understand, Mr. Weiss?"
I understand the words. I don't know the mechanics of what you did, but I understand what you said.
He'll nod. He will say, "Would you be interested in my attempts to help you understand?"
Can't hurt.
Okay. He will then walk back over to the map. He will say, "Miss Nakos, it is now your turn." Or Nako. How do you pronounce the last name? Nako?
Nakao. The S is silent.
Miss Nakao, it is now your turn.
She will step up onto the mat.
What is your particular form of contemplate? Prowess, I suppose.
Hand-to-hand combat.
Very well then. Would you care to strike one of my men?
She'll nod. Okay, she will she'll run her fingers on the beaded bracelet that she has.
Hmm.
And she's going to be increasing her strength. And that is just a life 3 effect, correct?
Yeah, so that's better body, so that's just a... Okay, it's a coincidental effect, so it's life 3 plus 3, so that would make it difficulty 6. Minus the -1 for using the bracelet as a focus to bring it to difficulty 5.
It's unique and personalized, so it would be diff 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will point out, for the love of God, if you've got unique focuses, never lose them.
Never mind. Didn't work. Okay. Well, anyways, she'll still go and begin to strike. She will She will use Death Strike.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. 2 successes on a Death Strike.
Is Death Strike difficulty? Is Death Strike difficulty 5?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Is it? Hold on.
Yep. I have it right in the book.
What page is it?
It is page 424. You have to have a minimum of martial arts 3. It is a hard style, which Pancration is a hard style.
Oh, he's right. Yeah, it's Pancration's a hard style. Seriously?
Pancration, you are literally. It can be a mixture of eye gouging, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I've done a little bit of it, but anyways, I guess.
I mean,
Yeah,
it is a very, very physical kind of, it's basically the genesis for modern wrestling, isn't it?
It's the genesis for. I don't know if the modern wrestling.
No, I'm talking about Olympic style wrestling as opposed to WWE, for Christ's sake. But yeah.
No. I know what you're talking about. Pancration is it's closer to MMA, really. I guess.
Okay.
Like it's like it's actually quite fun. Also, eye gouging was actually one of the few things not permitted, as I recall. Same with biting.
It originally started off with eye gouging and everything. It's just they don't do that anymore. But historically, it started off with like eye gouging and do like improvised fighting.
That's fun.
Okay.
So it is difficulty 5. Roll your sweet, sweet lethal damage.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 successes on lethal damage.
Okay, what do you do?
Basically, she's doing a twisting fist right towards where his heart's at.
Okay, once again, not nearly as much as when what I will refer to as the ginger wrecking ball struck. But there is a small trickle of blood that comes from his nose as he starts to cough. And you will see the guy kind of slump backwards and kind of fall onto the floor. He very much did not enjoy that and does not want to continue. Now then, the 10,000 euro question becomes very simple. I've now seen what you're all capable of, and I'm not unimpressed. He contemplates. However, I wonder would any of you dare to strike me, as Mr. Weiss did?
I also did.
He even raises his hand and kind of shakes it side to side.
I'm always game to learn. Sure, I'll go.
All right, allow me to reiterate. Allow me to rephrase. Would you be comfortable if I was to defend myself?
Yeah, you're going to kick my ass, no problem. It's what you do.
Is that an intimation towards the Akashiana, I hear?
I mean it in the most respectful way, but yes, I don't know what that word meant, to be perfectly honest.
He'll smile. Very well then. Hit me with all that you have. Do not hold back.
Are we keeping this to hand?
He'll shake his head. His attendant will throw him his sheathed sword.
Oh, I don't know how to use that. I always meant to learn, but yeah.
Then it would seem I have a great many things to teach you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Relax, I don't intend to draw it.
Oh no, it's okay if you do. He takes out a length of leather. Um, so, all right, I'm gonna try something here. Ken, just let me know when to start.
Begin.
Cool. Okay. Rory begins to disco, actually. It looks like he's doing the Disco Inferno dance. He's actually really good. He's amazingly graceful. Every move is perfectly timed. And he's humming, too, pretty loudly, and then begins to sing. It's also pretty good at that. Oh, little yellow boxes, how I've missed you.
Okay.
Spend. Actually, no, I can't. I like spend one on a turn. Wow. Okay. So I have 9 successes on my dance, my singing and dancing.
Holy crap. Okay.
He's good at some things.
Basically, you will enrapture everyone in the room who gives a damn.
Yeah. Like, he is amazingly graceful. It's magical in and of itself, and his hair seems to like whip around. There's almost like a faint music in the air, even beyond his own singing. The air just seems like it's charged, it crackles. And that was just the focus. Coincidental effects, how do we figure out the difficulty level?
It's 3 plus level of sphere.
Okay, I believe it's time 2, but I need to double check that.
What are you trying to do?
Extra actions.
Time 3.
Time 3. Okay, so that's number 6. And reduced by my focus. Plus willpower. All right, 2 successes. And now,
For every 2 successes, you get an extra action.
all right, so I just get 1 extra action.
But also remember, you have to put successes into duration as well as effect, or else you would get 1 extra action probably at the end of this turn.
Is it round up or round down then?
What do you mean?
How do you put into duration?
Well, basically, you split your successes between effect and duration.
If I've only gotten 2 successes, though.
Then you wouldn't have enough to put into duration. It would go 1 into effect, so that would mean you'd have to continue the casting, basically.
Fine. Yeah.
Remember, there's a +1 cumulative difficulty for basically continuing to cast.
Gotcha.
outside of a ritual, anyway.
All right, 6 successes on the first. Six and 5.
I beg your pardon?
6 and 5. I'm whipping shit at your character.
Okay.
They're marbles, in case you're curious.
Okay.
Marbles are fun.
You're allowed to think that, dear.
Like marbles. Kids with your rock'em sock'em robots and your computer games. All right. Well, honestly, I don't know what your character is doing, so I'll let you go before I roll damage.
Oh, he's sorry. I wasn't actually sure where we were in the development of that. He's going to basically parry the marbles out of midair. How many marbles did you throw at him?
Like a bunch.
Would it be okay? So basically, you just loaded a bunch of marbles into the slingshot and fucked them all at him, basically.
Yep.
Okay. In that case, it'll probably be easier for him to just dodge as opposed to try and Neo the shit out of that.
Yeah.
So how many successes did you get on your attack roll of him?
The first one 6, second one 5.
Awesome. This might actually be a challenge for him. Not really. That's he's
No.
okay. He's okay at certain things. Oh wow! Your first one hits him with a grand total of. Sorry, you got a total of 6 on the first one.
Yeah.
He got a 3 on his to dodge, so it hits him with a grand total of 3.
Roll damage. The point wasn't really to hurt him, though.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was the second one 5 successes you got?
Yeah.
He manages to dodge the second increment.
All right. Well, you can soak a mighty 2 bashing.
You will basically see 2 of them. I'm going to assume 2 marbles hit him if you hit him with 2 bashing, and you see red, ever so slightly red welts appearing. So he is now going to do something to you, however.
Cool.
Just trying to think, what would he do?
Doesn't kill him.
Beg your pardon?
Long as I don't die. My first day.
Your first day. You know what? You're getting typhoon kicked.
Ooh.
Oh, please, God, don't. Isn't that like the super most damaging dough ability ever?
Not really, it just does bashing.
Oh, I'm thinking a hurricane kick, I think.
It's going to hurt like a mother, but like...
Perhaps the most devastating strike in the Akashic Arsenal technique, Typhoon Kick directs chi momentum and supreme force, the blow that can shatter stone and kill most human beings. Moving on. I very much doubt he'll kill you. But,
Oh, it does do lethal?
it's dough, so it automatically does lethal.
Yeah, it automatically... Yeah, that's right. It automatically does lethal.
However, his entropy effect is not active for this, so it will be a standard difficulty for him.
Okay.
Gentlemen, can we please look at my roll on the rolls to make sure that roll exists?
Oh my god, I'm so sorry you're gonna die.
That's okay. Let me just reload.
Sam, when I say, hang on, he has a dice pool of actually he's got a dice pool of 8. I rolled one under. 1, 2, 3, 4 10s.
Yeah.
Um,
And you have a spec that applies, don't you?
yes. Oh no,
What
I don't
spec?
have it. You don't really spec in though.
Yeah. I know
Oh,
you
okay.
Okay. You
Yeah,
know
so
what?
wait,
Because
so
I'm,
tens don't count twice in Doe, or they do?
in theory, his dex spec would apply.
Yeah.
But you know what? Evan's just gonna. I'm gonna narrate this mostly because this is for fun, and he's not trying to kill you. Basically, Saisho will, he'll be hitting the head with the marbles. He'll kind of then, you'll see, he won't break his cool, but he'll drop really, really low. He'll kick himself off from the floor, and he'll basically hop onto the wall, kind of kick off the wall, and spin. And with the spin, basically, there'll be a jaw-dropping smash as his foot connects with your face. And you are spun to the ground, literally, like you are spun to the ground, and you will probably continue with the momentum of the kick to probably go another 10 to 15 foot across on the ground, and you are seeing stars, but you are otherwise okay.
Oh.
He'll then flex his shoulders and he'll say, "You're still conscious. I'm genuinely surprised."
As I said, I can take a licking and keep on ticking.
He's going to walk over to you and he's going to kind of extend his hand to help you up.
He gratefully accepts, and he's just going to heal himself quickly. That was some kick. That was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
He'll shrug. My order invented martial arts as they're currently known today. It would only be logical that we would keep certain tricks to ourselves.
Cool. I don't have any ancient tricks. At all. But that's fucking badass. He's just like, he's really impressed and just kind of happy.
So, I have now gauged your level and where you all stand, I believe. So, do you have any questions before we continue?
Well, that roll didn't go well.
Did someone botch?
No, thank God. Close. Fail. That's really cool. Hey, how do you create the dudes?
I beg your pardon?
Your dudes, your imaginary dudes. Are they like shadows in our mind, or like ghosts or something? Or like we only think they're there?
These ones are contemplates. I suppose illusionary would be the correct concept.
Cool.
Illusionary.
Yes. Well, rather, the two that you dispatched so easily were illusionary. He will gesture, there's still about 3 or 4 people in the room apart from you. The guy who's holding the coffee thermos, for example. You know what? Rory will be offered a refill.
Anastasia will look at the man that she punched in the heart. Hopefully he wasn't real.
Oh, he was real.
I just murdered a man.
Well, no, you just did 3 lethal. He's still okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's good.
He's not happy with life. But, he will, at this point, Saisho kind of sits down in one of the beat-up armchairs, and he will, very calmly kind of cock his head to the side. So, What is it that you seek? Or rather, do you have any questions for me now that you may step out of your universe, as it were?
Have you been training your whole life?
I beg your pardon?
Have you been training like most of your existence?
Contemplates. In a manner of speaking, yes.
Cool.
Is it?
Something to say. I mean, you're really good. It is legitimately pretty cool what you can do. I mean, I don't know what kind of price you paid for it.
He will contemplate, and he will say, ultimately, we all pay the price for what people perceive as power. Power is ultimately sometimes its own price. I would argue that I paid for what I can do, as you so colloquially put it, with dedication to my cause and following of my dharma, that path which will lead me towards inner peace.
Does your boy over there need looking after? I can take care of that quickly if you want.
He will look up and say, he will be fine. You do not need to concern yourself.
Yeah.
Mr. Weiss, I sense that if I do not offer you a cup of coffee soon, you will become rabid. Would you care for a cup of coffee?
He just looks, grabs the coffee. Thank you. And drinking it straight from the thermos, so I hope no one else planned on getting coffee.
I choose to point out it is delicious, but really, really fucking hot.
And he doesn't even slow down. I will take that point of bashing if need be.
No, it's okay. Oh, it's fine.
Wow.
Just think I could have taken a 3-point addiction.
Kage-sama.
I would just like to kind of raise my hand. I don't know what Peter's talking about. I talked about this character's paradigm for the entire first 20 minutes.
Probably missed that portion. He did step away for a bit.
I'm sorry, what was the second question? And if someone could just mind informing him that it's bought with XP that is given at the end of the month, etc., I will be grateful. Sorry, yes, what were you saying, Jules-san?
How will lessons proceed from here? Will they be group efforts, or will we receive one-on-one tutoring?
He will contemplate, and he will say, both, one would hope. If you are interested in the ascertaining and the refinement of your art, I am happy to help when my time allows.
I would be particularly interested in improving my swordsmanship techniques.
You'll see him very slightly nod, and he will say, this can be arranged.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
He will give a very slight seated bow. As I've said, you will inevitably have to fight the Technocratic Union. They are an unpleasant and tenacious foe, if nothing else. So, those of you who are less physically inclined may wish to at least understand the basics so that you may at least stave off their assault until you are able to find friends who may counter it. In you, Mr. Weiss, fortunately, I believe that my sister has taken an interest in your continued existence.
The thermos has been emptied. He just kind of looks over and nods. Seems that way.
Rory just
He's
tries
much
to
more
avoid
awake now.
comments about emptied and what else might be emptied.
What was that? Sorry, Sam, you kind of garbled at the last bit, something about empty.
Oh, so Rory takes a long sip of coffee to hide his smirk and try to avoid making jokes about what else might be emptied.
Sam, you know that would go tragically.
I know. My character is not that dumb, hence the long sip.
Needless to say, some of you may have heard that I have opened a small tournament or a small contest of physical champions in the city. If any of you are interested in taking part, you are more than welcome to do so. Though I will warn you, my champion is rather formidable. And of course, no obvious magic can be used.
Cool. How often does this happen?
Every couple of evenings.
Sweet.
Sounds interesting.
There is once again a very casual seated shrug.
As there will be magic involved, I do know that. As long as it's not obvious.
I will remind my disparate friend the fact of the matter remains that even unobvious and coincidental effects are still detectable by those who have the ability are still detectable by those who have the ability to see them.
Indeed. I never said I would break the rules myself. Simply to watch.
I will point out, poor Mr. Weiss, you have been the accountant who has been overseeing these games. You're also probably, yeah, I would say you're probably the bookie who's been setting the bets.
In my non-existent free time, sure.
In your defense, you are making a ridiculous sum of money.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I'll get to raise my resources. Nah, who are we kidding? I won't do that.
How many resources do you have?
I went with 3 ultimately.
3 is a
Because
good
he's in the 40 age category, so that's pretty impressive as is.
You can thank Sam for that detailed analysis of Irish financial planning.
Yep.
Yay.
And he's now playing a character with resources 0.
Yep.
There's no favoritism.
My last character had resources 5, but yeah.
Oh,
I have the
yeah,
power
because-
of money. Woo!
I mean, money is a pretty cool superpower.
I just wanted to own a nightclub, so I had to have resources for stupid property merit.
Okay.
That is how the property merit works.
I thought the property merit was one of the dumbest things ever, but
Really well.
like it should be subsumed under just normal resources, and like you have something and just worked out. I mean, it can be taxed still.
It's like Safe House. Safe House is also pretty dumb.
Oh my god, yeah.
But very well. I tell you what, they will, because the hour does grow very late here, and I need to get up tomorrow. So they will continue to have pleasant philosophical conversations as to the nature of life, the universe, and everything, until they will depart later in the day, about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning. So unless anyone else has anything in particular they very much need to do, going once.
Yeah, I think
Fine.
that's it.
So Have a pleasant evening. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness and Dublin.